Can He-Man survive the doors of doom?
No problem.
The problem is he might be drained by Mosquitor, tangled by Squeeze, blown away by Blast-Attak, frightened by Snakeface, or buzzed by Buzzsaw Hordak.
5 against 1, man. Like I said, no problem.
Mosquitor, Blast-Attak, Squeeze, Buzzsaw Hordak, and Snakeface figures sold separately. New from the Masters of the Universe.
Hello, welcome to Master Powercast. On tonight's Character Spotlight, we're going to be discussing Blast-Attak. He has a very fun gimmick, which you saw in motion in the commercial at the beginning of the show, but being released approximately on March 21st, 1987. Wave 6, alongside the movie figures, Clamp Champ, Ninjor, Scareglow, some of our favorites, some of them the most expensive and harder to find figures.
Pretty much that entire wave is that. Yeah, the entire wave is like, oh my God, it's either the very first wave and the very last wave. Some of the most hot commodities to collect. If you want to buy them in on card or complete, loose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But actually, come to think of it, all my vintage stuff is packed away currently just because the space up here, I was running out of it. I'm pretty certain Blast-Attak is one of the vintage figures that I do not have, based off of how expensive he is and getting him in good condition. That's another kind of tough thing with this figure, but it's mostly just the price. I didn't want to spend that kind of money on that figure, which kind of brings us to the point as we start to go through the history of Blast-Attak. When we get towards the end, that would probably be one of those scenarios if I were to take my vintage collection, put it on massive display. It's probably going to be like Scareglow. I would have to just go the Origins route with that one.
Oh, I know why you did it with Scareglow, but I'm like, I almost feel like I got to put my foot down and cut this shit out. Someone please help this man out. Don't help. You know what? We'll save that argument for later on.
Okay.
You know, but I would just love it if you could find a way to get a vintage Blast-Attak and not have to go down the route of supporting the bullshit.
But starting off here, we have our illustration from Mark Jones. This was allegedly, I think, he's got it marked here in the bottom right corner for February 26th, 1985. So this comes from the Power and Honor Foundation catalog. Most of these images that you're going to see here, I pulled from battleramblog.com. Link is in the description down below. So this is kind of this original design, looking more human here, which it's a good thing that they pivoted and changed it more to a robotic face, because I think just having a human face, that wouldn't have worked.
That concept illustration, like if you were to take away the whole Blast-Apart gimmick, this is the precursor to it, would make like a good human like ally to the Rock Warriors, like this human man with like this stone armor on his body, because it looks like spiked rock.
Yeah.
On his body, almost like, someone who decided who really wanted to, or almost like an idea maybe that the Rock Warriors hey, tells Man at Arms maybe you could create, rock from your planet into some sort of suitable armor to kind of be reminiscent of how strong our armored shell is.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy signs up to be like, hey, I'll sign up, because these guys are almost impenetrable to any kind of projectiles or physical attack. I'll be the guinea pig and let this guy be kind of a like a palace guard that decides to donate his body to science, essentially, and to see if this rock armor could adhere to his body and actually work in combat.
Okay. I mean, you got a name for this guy off the top of your head?
No, I just made this up as we're talking about. It didn't even occur to me to think.
If a name comes to you at some point, just toss it out here.
While we're going. Something that would definitely want to play at the fact that he's human, but I don't know.
It probably won't be too hard to come up with one.
And it wouldn't, because knowing what everyone else, the powers that be at Mattel come up with, I don't think I could fart and come up with something better than what they come with.
Which we will have an example for you a little bit later in the show.
I hope you're as excited as we are.
So later in the year, we get more of the familiar iteration. So this time, this is illustrated by Richard Lepic. This is November 26, 1985. And it had the name that they had going for this Crackpot. I was like, no, Crackpot does not work for this. I get it, but no.
Yeah, even back then, I feel like that name. I think again, I like that they have to use some things as a placeholder. Like, this is what we're going for. This is just it's just to fill in the blank here. It's not permanent. This is not. I'm saying we must go with this name. It's just something to kind of build up the creative juices, to get them flowing there. And it's a fun name, but much like how the Bachelor was going to be called Ballbuster, which that was going to be a legitimate name for it, and obviously it was changed.
Could you imagine if they would have went with that, and then over time the reputation that would have, especially. I don't want to get you on this train again, but especially if they would have kept that name, and how people would think of the property come later on, like the symmetry there with all.
And the shitty new live action movie couldn't wait to work in ball busting and balls and balls and balls busting and balls. Thank God for that. God knows they got plenty enough they're gonna fuck up. Enough of that already.
Yeah. With the balls thing makes me think of the that Talking Revenge of the Sith book and the General Grievous.
We got the bigger balls. Yeah,
we got the bigger balls. I love the details though within this illustration. Too. Yeah, you can.
It's a beautiful design. I love the full on like mechanics. I mean, that he comes off as he's like a steam powered robot. Almost, you just kind of feel like you can see bit like steam emoting from like parts of his body.
Yeah.
Because he looks more not like a traditional robot. Like you see like the dial on his heart, like where his heart would be, like pressure building up, like he's like almost like he's run like a steam engine. He kind of most like ideas like what he would sound like walking around in animation or in a good live action movie.
I would see it similar to maybe like RoboCop, how he's walking. I think.
Yeah, just the heavy mechanical, but maybe working kind of like train sound effects with the steam emitting from like exhaust pipe, or places where steam would probably emote from the body.
Yeah. So, of course, within this illustration, once we start to get in our prototype toy form, obviously a lot of those details kind of present, but of course you got to have to scale it back.
It's more simplified, but it still looks great, and it's such a unique design. Like you're getting more and more unique designs. 86 probably is the most unique designs, but the last wave, even though there's some simplicity with some of the designs in the best possible way, he's definitely might be the most unique looking because of how unique the entire body is. Like, there's no reused parts. The head sculpt is not reused. His body is not reused. It's not like it's a He-Man upper body with Skeletor legs and Mossman arms and anything like that. He is just like full mechanical being altogether. And it just makes him so unique that, for the last wave where they're trying to save some pennies with, certain characters that are not as requiring as much tooling. Just looking at him, it's like, well, they didn't spare any expense with him.
No.
Like the money they saved with King Randor and Clamp Champ, and to a certain extent Scareglow and Ninjor, go into this work of art.
Your history with Blast-Attak and getting the vintage figure, I'm going to just assume this is one you picked up way later, probably in your high school years.
Actually, in my early collecting years because I got them from Figures Inc. for $20 men on card.
Oh, God, Jesus. All right, cool.
They had, and no fucking joke, they had damn near the entire last wave, all Scareglow, and they advertised this for years in the late 90s, you know, into the probably year 2000, 2001. They were selling Silverhawks, like the last wave of Silverhawks, $20 a piece, men on card. Hardware, Moonstriker, just Windhammer, $20 a piece, men on card.
I should have gotten into collecting again around that time period and just bought all of that stuff.
Yeah, and all I had was like this cheap black and white catalog with the names, no pictures, just the names. And I'm thinking, oh my God, what do I spend my money on? And you know, this is saving up money through allowance and mowing lawns and I didn't know what he looked like until the Adam Tyner website came along. I actually saw what he looked like. So after I bought Clamp Champ, the Horde Trooper, Mosquito, Ninja was no longer available. Scareglow was no longer available. They had Extendar. I bought him. No, wait. I got him another time.
So is the Blast-Attak that you bought mint on cards still mint on card on the wall? Or
no, he is removed because much like Clam Champ and Mosquito at the time, I really wanted to look at the mini comics that they came with, but I did it very carefully. So the card I still have the card. It's boxed up right now, but the card is in great shape. So yeah, the one that's on display back here is the one that I got for $20. My card in 98 or 99, I think.
$20. And how much was shipping? Do you recall?
Like $5.
God. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. And we get here the catalog. So we have Scareglow, we have Blast-Attak, we have Snakeface here. Some more of the we get Tongue Lasher and a Rattler.
Reminding that the Snake Men are currently available here for you to buy. And the catalog pictures, that's something that'd be fun to cover at some point. All the catalog, like whether it was Mattel or like Sears, JCPenney with their Christmas catalogs, they always had these beautiful displays of He-Man toys that you can buy with these awesome landscapes around Castle Grayskull, Snake Mountain, and all the new steeds and vehicles and the new heroes and villains available. Like, oh, look at this. This could be yours. With all these rocks and mountains and hills and terrains. It's like, oh my God, like I want to recreate this.
Yeah, that's the reason they did that. So it catches your eye. I remember as a kid, they loved doing it with G.I. Joe.
Oh my God, boy, did they ever, man.
Yeah, which is totally understandable.
Yeah.
You want to put them in those kind of scenarios. But anytime you see that stuff, and the way that they choose their color palettes for it too, because you see here, there's lots of greens and everything. So it's like, oh, we'll toss some blues and some other
like a bright blue
colors.
sky with like these like kind of exotic plants, which is just like looks like a part of a pine tree and some random flowers, but they're colored differently, with this rocky terrain. And it just this is the adventures I could be having at home. But the adventures we have is just taking a comforter off her mom's bed, fluffing it up.
Yep.
And this becomes, whatever,
it's either that or I'm using the couch because you and I both agree we didn't want to take our toys outside and play in the dirt.
If they were outside, it was on the porch, far away from dirt. There was just this little thing I had set, like the corner railing used to pretend like the Cobra Forces were robbing a bank. I don't know why, but that's what I was pretending they were doing.
Hey,
and it was only on the porch. They never left the porch, not on the sidewalk, not in the driveway, and sure as fuck not in the grass.
Yeah, there was I would do that with the porch as well. And the porch was high enough, but down below it had like a good cushy spot. So sometimes I would toss figures off of there because I knew that they weren't going to break when they hit.
Oh, they never did that because we had like this very thin covering on the front porch back in the day when we moved in '89, and it would stay like that way for a long time. So anytime a bad guy was taken out, they fell on the nice thin covering on the porch. Never, a foot down onto like the sidewalk / driveway. It just wasn't happening.
Yeah. And us talking about some G.I. Joe here, we will have a little more on that later on in the show. But moving on here, we get into the patent with the schematics that they have to just kind of show you how Blast-Attak blasts apart.
And it was so fucking cool to open him up and try that out. And I actually did it several times because I thought having your own detonator to blow this figure up was like, this is fucking genius, man. Like, I just thought it was such a great gimmick. And I'm kind of surprised, too, the way that Scareglow and Mosquito has such intense fan followings. Why Blast-Attak has never caught on. And I'm sure maybe there's a couple fans out there across the world who they might put him as like, he's their ultra, like, super obscure favorite. But you just don't hear it. There's hardly any fan art about the character. He was virtually not featured, you know, and it just shocks me. As cool looking as he is, and one of the best gimmicks of that last wave. Because I think Scareglow or Mosquito are linked with having the best gimmicks, at least across the masses. I think it's up for debate. I wouldn't argue that because they're great gimmicks, but Blast-Attacks, this whole gimmick with the detonator, you plug into his back and blow him up. It's
yeah. I'm surprised that there weren't more action figures that did those types of things after this, but here we have another catalog advertising. He's featured all the way down here in the corner, so all this is just Brave Star stuff.
But it does tie in because the detonator on his back was included with the Brave Star Fort Carrion play set to blow up the bank, or the jail cell there that you could plug it in, and you got Thunderstick and ready to break Tex-Ex out. It's the same gimmick to blow up Blast-Attak, to blow up. I know it's the jail cell. I was thinking like the bank vault. I thought you could use to blow up like the bank vault to get all the chunks of Carrion. I thought. Oh, there it is. Yeah, there it is. Down there on the other side.
Yep.
So
so at least they repurposed it in this fashion, and we didn't see anything.
Yeah, and it's a brilliant use. And again, another toy line that seems to be beloved, but the fan base is so minimal for it. What the hell's wrong with you people?
I mean, once again, and we've talked about this before with Dino Riders.
Oh God,
that you're doing the stuff with Origins here. Why not put out Dino Riders again? Put out Brave Star stuff again. Yeah, I'm sure there might be some alterations, but there would be a little bit of a market for these things. So
because why Mattel would not want to. But then again, too, I feel like when I answer, it's like I'm answering my own question. But it just seems like there's such a wonderful idea of scaling down the Brave Star figures, so you could make them in scale with He-Man, but then make more characters that were never made into toys, either the prototypes, and don't fuck them up with your own bullshit ideas and names, and changing it. My little bastard kid came up with this, so we put it on here, whatever. But I just feel like there's so much possibility with bringing back Brave Star and obviously bringing back Dino Riders. Yeah, I know they did the little figurine rubber figures.
I know. I'm talking.
I'm not saying that's enough. I want full scale, like 6-inch figures of Questar and Krulos and Hammerhead and Rasp and Mind's Eye, and the list goes on, and then dinosaurs. They don't need to operate with a motor inside them, but something you could really pose, or even maybe like G.I. Joe's 3 3/4. Yeah. Make them a bit bigger than the actual figure, so that way the dinosaurs don't cost a fucking fortune when you buy them, at retail right now.
Yeah. But that just seems like a no-brainer, because every time we talk about it, and I know that they put out like the Jurassic World stuff and they got weapons on them, whatever. I'm like, do some with Dino Riders.
Yes, I mean, fuck those movies. They all suck balls anyway. Like,
kids like dinosaurs.
And you guys own the rights to the property. What are you doing? Just sitting around, just leaving skid marks on it?
So here is the final vintage figure, because we saw the prototype earlier, and you can see in the back.
Yeah, so cool.
Yeah,
and he's definitely, he's not like, he doesn't pop color wise like so many of the characters in the last wave, but I think that's what makes him unique, is that he is a metallic looking robot. Yeah, so he doesn't need to have a lot of bright colors.
No, I think the only thing I would have done differently is maybe make this gold plate. You could probably do with the whole
like
figure.
Put back metal for like his chest.
Yep. That would be the only change I would make to the,
because I like the mint green humanoid part of his face. Like he's got like this black head, but it's almost like RoboCop is part of a human or a humanoid person underneath all that, with like the mint green skin, and it may just been colored that to break up the black. you know, and not
Probably.
not to even imply that this guy was human. He was once a man. Now he's part man, part machine. You know, all evil warrior. You know, it's I don't think that was the intention there. But you look at that like the card art there that the Magnificent Bruce Timm drew. It's almost like he could be kind of human like underneath that black helmet, like an evil RoboCop.
Yeah. Well, there's a better version of this that we'll come across, but yeah, I like how they say here, he flies apart.
Yeah.
And then here's the back of the card, which as we will get into, he's presented. You'll see in the style guide that he's part of the Evil Warriors, but he's most associated here, as we'll see, with the Snake Man. So,
that's the perspective I've changed my mind on.
Okay, and we'll get into that once we kind of get into the snippets of the mini comic appearance, the magazine strips, and the newspaper strip. But
and I have no memory of seeing him as a kid. Nothing. No recollection of seeing him at KB Toys at all when I was buying like the Faker and Blade and Gwildor. I don't, or if he was there, seeing Blade, Faker, or Gwildor popped out more to me than anyone else, and it's hard to say who was available in the stores at that time that I either did or didn't see, and they weren't registering with me at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I think the cross art was so minimal on here.
Yeah,
you don't have like the standard like 12. You've got 8 as opposed to two layers of evil warriors and 2 layers of heroic warriors, or like a breakup with like 2 horde members and 2 snake men or something like that. It's a very subdued card back and not advertising like the full cast of who was available at that time.
I was trying to think in other times where they had the instructions like this on the side, did it also have 12 or did they scale it down? Because this is probably the main reason why there isn't, right? So
you know what, you're probably right, because I know sometimes like, because I think about like certain characters had like maybe 3 or 4. Let's see, we got 1, 2. Is it just 4 illustrations on how to work the gimmick? Yeah, it may be that because.
But also too, it seems like you could fit what more.
I still feel like you probably could have fit more on, but it's a minor nitpick. It just feels like it's lacking because you don't have 12 new characters that were available at the time to look at. Oh man, I want him. I want her. That kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's the black and white version of his card back art. Some good stuff, and then here's a better.
Yeah. Why isn't that on a T-shirt?
I guess it could be in this form and fashion. So that'd be fun.
Could that be done, you think?
Maybe we shall see. A lot of movement. So here's the style guide part where it even says group affiliation, Evil Warriors. And then it gets your character profile. Blast-Attak is a robotic muscle man with an extremely short fuse. He loves to surprise enemies with his sudden split apart power.
That's a nice little illustration by Al McCarthy. I mean, it's simple, but
it's effective.
It's
exactly what it needs to be. I mean, I guess if you wanted to go one step forward with it, instead of just having it like this, you could maybe have this half more at an angle this way, and then have his arm and leg on this side maybe be turned upside down, going in an opposite direction.
Really emphasizing it's just not as simple, just fall apart explosion. I mean, boom, like. But I imagine Errol's just trying to get this shit done. He's not going to get super, super crazy with it. So
and then we have Revenge of the Snake Men, where he is featured on the cover. And we're not going to flip through this entire thing. It's just going to be a cover, and then I think just one page that he appears, and you see the gimmick in full display. So this will be a mini comic that I think we will revisit down the road at some point.
Yeah, fairly soon, probably in the coming months. I would expect it to be covered at length.
Yeah. So Blast-Attak is a walking, talking robotic time bomb.
Created by the Snake Men.
Yeah. You will take him with you and kidnap Queen Marlena with her hostage. King Randor will do whatever I say. Rattler, have you set the time for Blast-Attak to explode? And Blast-Attak saying to explode, and then
and just blows himself up. And
At this point, do you kind of want to talk about your initial? You had him here, and you've since changed your opinion on it.
I guess obviously because when I got this figure and the minicon, okay, even though there's nothing on the box, the card that it signifies that he is a member of the Snake Men. All the Snake Men had the Snake Men logo on their card to let you know, all right, yeah, he's a Snake Man, but he's also part of the Snake Men.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they didn't repackage Cobra Khan with that logo or anything like that. They're emphasizing this guy is a member of the Snake Men. And it does make me kind of wonder why at this time, because the Snake Men got two more. They got Squeeze and Snake Face added to their ranks. You know, so it wasn't like they were lacking. And then Hordak got Mosquito, and of course, Buzzsaw Hordak, and I think that's all the Horde got. So, and Skeletor got Blade, Sorod, and Ninjor, and Scareglow. So, Skeletor, you know, was given more.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm okay. This character he's a member of the Snake Men. He was created by, and I had never seen the Style Guide or anything like that, and had never really heard of anything otherwise. And just for the longest, even on Fans of Power, I was like, no, he's a member of the Snake Man. I was sitting there just like, yes, that is where he belongs. Like, in recent time, I'm like, you know what? It makes no sense for this character to be a member of the Snake Men. The Snake Men are more about sorcery and primitive acts of terror. You know, they rely on their physical force, and King Hiss's physical force and evil sorcery. That's their means of how they attack, how they conquer. They loot and plunder in those very simplistic ways. I kind of feel like Skeletor and Hordak are kind of the two sides of the same coin of like magic and technology, and King Hiss is the only one who's not relying on technology, so to speak. Like I think there were plans for like, I think there were ideas in the magazine of like Snake Men vehicles, which sure you could have a Snake Man vehicle if you wanted to or something like that maybe, but I just feel like it kind of seems out of place for King Hiss to want to rely on technology unless you want to write the characters like he feels like he's not rising up above the evil warriors and the Horde, because Hordak's got all the Horde troopers and all these various other creations. Skeletor has the robot knights. He's creating Faker. You know,
that could be an angle that you could take it, that with him appearing and having this power struggle amongst everyone on Eternia, that maybe he does feel like he needs to dip his toes into this so he can kind of keep up, catch up, and maybe even surpass. But so you're saying, just in your opinion now, Evil Warriors faction,
full on Evil Warriors. Like it makes more sense for Skeletor to have created him on his own. Again, like seeing success of, you know, Faker was never given any real good story. So until, you know, he was put into a fun cartoon about one of our good friends, but he was never given a concrete like story in terms of like his place in the mythology. It's always just here he is because he's a cheap barrack we can sell and save money. I'm like, it's a great idea, but never give. But so, you know, not really, Skeletor's not inspired to like, I want to make more like man-made creations to expand my ranks. Like he's made the hover robots. He creates his own vehicles. Why not create his own warriors? Like outside of going out and recruiting new people all the time, new creatures, new warriors, new human hybrids of creatures. Like why not create his own, you know? And Blast-Attak makes sense for someone that, if he becomes cornered, can self-destruct and take out the enemy because he's a walking suicide bomber.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and I think that's what makes him so lethal, is that, if he were with the Snake Men, that's how it would be viewed. But I feel like Skeletor, I could see him doing that as a self-destructive way. If he feels like he's in a position to either take out it's like he's programmed, like not of like, okay, if he becomes cornered and Mechanak and Fisto have got him and they're about ready to take him out, he's programmed to immediately just like self-destruct in hopes of taking out whoever would be, you know, attacking him, or programmed like in like he were to walk into the royal palace, taking out guards left and right, and get to a certain spot, and is commanded to self-destruct to cause sabotage to the wall, or the throne room, or just any kind of an immediate threat, or something that Skeletor wants taken out immediately, because of how heavily armored he is. Like, unless you're going to get a hold of him, and He-Man's going to like tear off, bend the metallic body that he's got, or Fist is going to get in there and put a fist through him.
That's kind of something I want to talk about too, because it's you see the gimmick with the toy. You see here in the mini comic where he explodes and then he puts himself back together. That's something I think that you would really kind of have to think about if you're putting it in animated form, or if you're live action form, whatever the case may be, is what is the reload time for him to snap back together? How does he not, when he blows apart, are there not like pieces of him that go missing kind of thing or whatever? So there's a lot that you can play around with that character in terms of your storytelling modes, because it's like, well, if it takes him a while to pull himself back together, then X, Y, and Z. Or if he's able to just snap back really quickly, like he's some sort of ultra magnet to himself, that he can just swoop and he's back. That can make him dangerous. Or if he explodes, pulls himself back together, how much longer does he have to wait until he can explode again too? So there's a lot that you can do with that.
Yeah, and then part of me feels like it needs to be almost like it's set up like the Mortal Kombat fatality moment, that he only does it in like the most extreme situation, or when he is like commanded by Skeletor to self-destruct. Because I almost feel like you don't want to overuse the idea that this character, that's just what he does. When Beastman and Merman and Blast-Attak are going to go attack the Witch's Fortress or something like that, and he just snaps apart and then goes right back together, just like how we'll see in like the Star comics, where it's not used as a means of like attacking. It's more or less used as a means of, look what I can do. You can't stop me because I can just split my body apart. And it's like, no. Yeah. Like it comes off as silly when you do that.
Yeah. So here,
right here is a better example.
Yeah, so this is from the fall 87 issue of the Master Universe magazine. So Blast-Attak appears in the story Rescue King Randor. In this story, Blast-Attak is working with both the Snake Men and the Evil Warriors, and all of them are directed by Skeletor.
Which the Snake Men were working in cahoots with the Evil Warriors, so it's plausible that King Hiss may be away, and it's like, look, Skeletor's got an idea, follow his lead, but it doesn't look right unless you kind of see Skeletor and King Hiss together in the same scene to see the Snake Men. But then again, too, you'll see the Snake Men serving the Horde and Hordak in one issue. It's they were all over the place with this kind of stuff. But
here's He-Man saying, "There you go again, blowing up over nothing." Yeah, but I can put myself back together again. Can you, He-Man?
Oh
yeah,
that would have made more sense if like he's trying to blow up like and take out He-Man, like the self-destruct is trying to take out He-Man, and He-Man thinks, well, I guess I'm done with him, and then he just merges back together, kind of like T-1000 almost, like you.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, if it needs to be in a dramatic way and not used so much, because I feel like this is a character that needs to be spared the use of blowing up every time you see him. You want it to be safe for big moments.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you see them come back together, it needs to be much like the T-1000 when you're like,
it needs to be like it needs to be a holy shit kind of moment.
Yeah, because you just become like, you want to rely on his physical strength of being this walking steam machine, and it's like in wrestling, you don't want to waste the big moments too early. You want to wait brother, it's not ready yet, as Kevin Sullivan would say,
But it can also, just as easy, much like you sort of see here, they could take it in that other direction of he's like comedic relief. It's like, oh, he's got a short fuse and he always misses his target and blows up or whatever. And you could just I would not go that route.
New movie.
I would not go that route, but
no.
Yeah. So
Mattel, don't you be getting any ideas now. I know you guys like to steal shitty ideas. Don't be stealing these other shitty ideas too.
This comes from The Dark Power of Skeletor, and this appears in the fall 88 of Mass Universe magazine.
They're going underneath the caverns of Grayskull, which is mentioned in the movie. It's a golden book, and I love this image of Skeletor sitting on the throne with Ninjor with his arms crossed, sitting by Skeletor. That's something I would love to see in Snake Mountain as well. And I had forgotten about that image. That's something I just thought was so cool. Was like he's the Storm Shadow to Skeletor's Cobra Commander.
That would be awesome. Yeah,
you know,
that would be like the best way to portray him in this.
I agree. Like just snaps his fingers. Like Ninja is so loyal and faithful, not due to brainwashing and not due to like any kind of like, you know, hidden mission. Like he has devoted himself to serving Skeletor, much like Beastman.
Yeah,
but he's just one of the most intelligent men among the ranks because he's a fucking ninja.
And then we have issue 7 of
let me tell you
Star Comics.
When I learned about this on He-Man and Or way back when, and just all I knew, all you could see was this and a brief description that was written on there. Mm-hmm. I was like foaming at the mouth because of how many characters were featured in this book, and I was like, oh my god, this is probably gonna be one of the greatest comics I've ever read in my life, because you've got Blast-Attak, Faker, Ninjor, Scareglow, Clamp Champ, King Randor, all in this book. Like, oh my god, this is just like the battle royal of like all these characters I'm just like crazy about. And it's
I mean, check him out here in comic form, more humanoid.
Yeah, he is. And the illustration of him looks good. Like it
looks great.
And Ninja looks good too. And a lot of the standard illustrations in this particular issue are quite good, but they're depicted, I mean, very poorly. You know, and again, this is where Blast-Attak just like decides to break himself apart because Ninja tries to cut him in half, and that he just splits apart. And then look at him reassembled upside down. Like, I guess it's for kids. Kids are dumb, and it's like, oh god, no. And he comes off as a very like stubborn character, and he's summoned. Much like how I could buy that Ninja and Scareglow are being summoned from other dimensions, other places beyond human comprehension. Mm-hmm. Blast-Attak he needs to be a creation. I mean, he's a machine, for God's sakes. Much like Faker is a creation. And of course, it's a very ham-fisted like reason to just Faker just is there and he goes, it's my old creation, Faker. Like, no. Faker should just been there from the very beginning and just say he's there because Skeletor created him. As a nod to like way back when we bringing him back. You don't need to have this, you know, God.
Admittedly, I have not read this issue of Star Comics. I actually, when it comes to the Star Comics run, I think I've only read maybe 3 or 4 of them.
Well, and James E-Talk and others, it can be attested to that. Yeah, it starts out kind of strong. Well, I like with the first issue, which it's okay. And other issues like it, I mean, yeah, it's more about getting the new toys over with some real shitty stories, and sometimes the artwork can be quite good in them, but they get really goofy. I mean, that would be one I think would be fun to review because, like, oh my god, like wasted potential. Yeah, like you got this onslaught of all these new characters in this one book, and they're just fucking wasted. And the beam blaster and artillery, like the artillery, is a flying device. It's just like, oh my god, man.
Hey, that's something we can do. That's the good, the bad, and the makeover. Star Comics.
Yeah, let's make that the first one we do for Star Comics. Is that particular issue? You heard it here first, people.
And then this is Ninja Warrior Stalks by Night, the newspaper story. So here he definitely looks more just like flying robot in this image.
Yeah, it's not a very pretty rendition of the character, but seeing him like in a physical struggle with He-Man. But then he just splits apart.
Now that's a split personality.
Slap the knee there.
I mean, I get why they did this because you got to think, like, Filmation one-liners and things.
He-Man and this bear hug, and He-Man's struggling to break away from this metallic, you know, steam engine, and I'm like, yeah, that's what you want to see, and it's just a sloppy way of getting over the gimmick. You know, it's.
So once again, I think at this point now we've seen this image quite a few times when we've done character spotlights.
And I scored every time I see it because it's fucking amazing.
It's worth pointing out. Yeah. So this kind of gives more, well, I mean, because Ninja is there too, but I was going to say it kind of gives you more inclination. It's like, oh, maybe we're putting Blast-Attak more in line with the Snake Men than the Evil Warrior. So it's still kind of riding that line a little bit of what faction does he really
because when I saw this, I took it as more like it's more of a Snake Men kidnapping, but Ninja is there to help out. But I'm trying to come up with the logic in my mind when I see this for the first time. Not to mention the fact they're on Preternia.
Yeah.
With the Brontosaurus in the background. And it's one of those things I feel like, yeah, you're going with the dinosaur direction. You want to see your core cast and your new cast interacting with this new atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
But then you're like establishing, okay, this is in the past. You kind of feel like, oh boy, like we want the kids to see He-Man with the new dinosaurs. Well, how are we going to do that when we're emphasizing that the new dinosaurs are part of this new line that has yet to be announced? And so it's like the struggle of like wanting to see He-Man the Biotops and Skeletor riding the Tyrannosaurus Rex, and they do it anyway with the magazine, and with no logic. It just looks really fucking cool because Earl North, depicting it, and trying to come up with logic here is like, did the Snake Men or in Ninja like are instructed here, use the Cosmic Key, which I can't buy that because Skeletor King is get wind of that you have the Cosmic Key. I'm not gonna let you assholes use this. This is mine.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things I would love to. It doesn't have to make sense because it just looks good, but it's one of those things I still would like to try and find logic because it's He-Man, and I don't like to have some sort of within the realm and the rules that are set up within this mythology, which, yes, anyone who knows this line and backwards and forwards, inside and out, the rules were constantly changing and being remade, retooled, rebooted as the line is going on, because this is well known in the very beginning. There was no game plan for these characters. It's just kind of, winging it the entire way, each wave, change this. And not until Filmation, even then, they're kind of breaking their own rules from time to time and forgetting continuity and things like that,
Yeah. But hey, it's like you said, it's nice it's beautiful to look at. So
it's He-Man and Clan Champ and a tag team mission to take on the new recruits of evil. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah. Here's Blast-Attak on some of the wide array of character posters. So
this was the last one that had the dinosaurs featured in it and the movie characters and some remnants of the older cast. And it's a packed poster. Like, it's, even though like all the previous William George posters were packed, this one just seems crammed in the space because you just had these two great grassy terrains with Snake Mountain and Grayskull, not the three towers. It's all about selling the dinosaurs and the movie stuff and the 87 figures straight, and that is it. Yeah, and it's that's the one. I don't have the very first one either. Too. This one's the hardest to come by. Like an original one of this, if it just doesn't show up, you're going to get a replica, which I wouldn't mind owning a replica of it. You
just gotta pack it all in there.
Yeah, just pack all that shit in the wall out there and save up for it and get this shit done. Unpack all that shit.
See catalog for complete descriptive copies. So here's just more catalog-y kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Then we move on to the classics, where they do indeed put the Snake Men sticker on the box.
Yeah. But you also got to remember too who was in charge at the time. But I did go along because that was my mindset at the time, is that he was and now his face looks more blue and not like a mint green. Mm-hmm. And that blue looks beautiful on him. It does look like he was part of a human. Like the head was used,
I have Blast-Attak there on the shelf with the Horde and the Snake Men. He's hanging out up top with the Snake Men. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's your right to depict him, because I know a lot of people can do that. And understandably so.
I kind of see Blast-Attak in a roundabout way, just kind of maybe being passed around to every faction in some form or fashion.
I mean, if you were to do a brand new mythology that was going to honor all the old stuff, you're not going to go in there and try and reinvent the wheel like the current assholes do. You could honor both and have Skeletor and King Hiss, like in one particular episode of a really well-written cartoon. They work together and bring in Blast-Attak to life and make him kind of a universal evil warrior / Snake Man. Mm-hmm. And he's pretty much used much like Skeletor give access to the war sledge to the Snake Men or the land shark, So if you wanted to go that route and honor the idea that Blast-Attak, well, some people like him as a Snake Man, some people want him as an evil warrior, make him a creation that is, unified during this alliance, because we all know at some point down the line the Snake Man and the Evil Warriors are going to turn on each other. That's the way it's got to be when you're building and building and building to the ultimate climax before you move on to the next chapter, like the Son of He-Man and things like that too. You want to have them planting the seeds that they are going to turn on each other, but having Blast-Attak kind of being like this co-creation that's helping like solidify the alliance between the Snake Men and the Evil Warriors. Not as like a major symbol. That seems kind of like, bullshitty and gimmicky. Yeah. But just in one episode, like, is a step in their alliance of like coming together and kind of putting their brains together, coming up with like this creation of steam engine and robotics that would self-destruct, and attack its opponents if it felt cornered, and what did we use? Did we use a human guinea pig? Do we use a human brain for this thing? Do we take away any brain power and it follows only our commands and that kind of thing? And like it wouldn't know what to think. Is King Skeletor arguing, and then it just overloads and blows up and sees what kind of damage it does. Like, okay, you know what? We could use this to our advantage. This thing, like, when it gets worked up, and I don't know, and I forget to scrap that idea. No, it's no good. I don't know. I think if I was going to do it, I would have him established as an evil warrior, but would be asked to go on missions with the Snake Man. So you would get those moments.
Yeah, you could either do that, or like you said, it starts out with it's a mutual, like they both come together to create, and then at a certain point, that's when you shift the character over to more evil warrior side after the fallout kind of.
Yeah. Or you could have like Skeletor command it secretly, like when the mission's complete, Blast-Attak, take out Rattler and Tongue Lasher.
Oh, yeah. Let us know in the comments down below or in the premiere chat if you're watching this.
Yeah, there's no right or wrong answer about this. If you prefer if he's a Snake Man or an Evil Warrior, let us know. Like,
yeah,
what's your preference?
Yeah, where does Blast-Attak sit on your shelf? So that was the Classics version, which, as stated before, for me, the Classics line is the cream of the crop for me in terms of Master Universe action figure. Tyler leans vintage, and that's totally understandable.
It's only mainly just because of the power of the nostalgia and where it all began. Like but the Classic is the definitive look.
Yeah,
like they took what was so good about the vintage and just made it even better.
Yeah,
with everything. There's really, because I felt like they took characters that people were just like so dismissive of and made them. That's why I wish we'd gotten more original characters, like one-shot characters from Filmation, the mini comics, or characters that people were just, not a great looking design, but then the Horsemen get a hold of it and like, oh my God, look what they did here. And that's
we were very lucky that when the Classics line lasted as long as it did, and it got as many characters out as it could, especially one-shot characters. They did a decent job of getting quite a few of those out there.
There still was a ton more, and and I know, I also think too, during those times when Nightlight was using all the scare tactics about, hey, you better buy these or we're going to cancel the line here, people. That I think a lot of people too at that time were more about the main cast of characters. And even though you're getting deeper into the vintage line, there still were a lot of people who were not as familiar with a lot of these more lesser known vintage characters like Blast-Attak and a few others too. I feel like, most hardcore fans that were around back then all know who they were, but the sales were steadily dropping as you got deeper into the line. And I understand that, because the point was to like stretch out and not release the Sorceress immediately right up. Like, that's one thing I will sit there and say, okay, Scott did a good idea of like, okay, I'm going to release Scareglow much earlier in the line. A character that came out at the very end, we're going to put him up a little bit. And okay, that's a genius idea, because you want to encourage people that this is not going to be from the very beginning, and we'll just kind of repeat the release schedule that was done in the vintage line. Mix it up, But then when you're forced to buy characters that
you didn't want,
mainly like 3-packs and 4-packs and Steves that, you know what, I don't have room with the money to do this right now. It's for characters I really don't give a fuck about, that you're just kind of saying the Fighting Foeman. Like, no, I don't need those, but you're making me buy them because if I don't sub up, I don't get any of these figures. Fuck you. But I had no choice. I had no choice.
Yeah.
And it's just where the fuck was I going with this? Damn it.
That it's the definitive look.
Yeah, and that we it really could have gone on more. Well, no matter. All right, that's kind of redundant because as we all know, Super 7 took over the license and kept going with the line. And they were only doing 4 figures at a time, but then Mattel said, no, you're having too much fun with this. We're going to take it away and shed on that and do something of less quality and less money and take all the credit for it.
Which brings us to the Origins version.
Yeah, that wasn't planned. That was organic there, people.
Which, I mean, he doesn't.
It just looks like the body's
not
fine.
terrible.
The hit, it's not horrible because God knows there are a lot more horrible, And look, I get the gimmick of making these figures articulated. Like that's great. And for once, this figure looks proportionate. He doesn't look like he's a much larger upper body with these scrawny little legs and a fucked up head sculpt. It's sometimes they get it right and a lot of times they don't.
Yeah, so it's not bad.
It's not bad. The head could be doing a little extra polishing up, fixing up, but this is one of the few times I'll sit there and say that okay, Blast-Attak's not bad, not great by any means, but at least the body itself is fine, and you all enjoy it.
There is one more image that I forgot is not here in the packet, so let me go ahead and put this up here. And Tyler, you're gonna love it. I gotta remember where it accidentally saved to. There we go. So this is Blast-Attak in the Netflix show.
Oh, son of a bitch!
Yeah, so that's what Blast-Attak looked like in that. Which
I
don't remember.
Triclops' tribe with motherboard and all that other fucked up bullshit.
I don't even. I saw this. I was like, I don't remember this at all. I don't remember much of anything about that show, and that is for the best. But that is what we have through the history of Blast-Attak. And Tyler, you mentioned doesn't appear in a lot of stuff, just some snippets here, some snippets there. Once again, one of those characters, tons of potential, as you saw us discuss there. This could be a mutual creation and this temporary alliance between evil warriors and Snake Men that is ultimately set to turn on the Snake Men and join the evil warriors. There's so much you can do with that. Recharge rate. How's he snap back together? Is it quick? Is it fast? There's a lot to play around with.
Yeah, and set him up as like the ultimate ticking time bomb, like to surprise any new enemy or unaware that this character is, if programmed right or if commanded, will self-destruct and I like to think would emit like an actual like energy burst or an explosion emitting from his body as well, not just the 2 parts of his body just split apart and hopefully punch, somebody or knock them out. It would be nice to like have this kind of explosion that emits from him, not like a nuclear bomb or anything like that, but a little extra surprise, when you see him like maybe stirred up or overloading with steam, and to at least let the audience know what's going to happen. And have the characters like Man-at-Arms and Clamp-Champ are fighting him, and Skeletor's like watching from the collector up in the sky somewhere off, and says,
So when are you gonna have him on a mini comic cover commission?
I'm trying to think if I even wrote that down as a possibility, because I have like a list of all like the ideas I wanted to do, and I'm trying to think, did I even put a Blast-Attak one down?
If not, that's something you definitely probably need to...
Yeah, and it's looking like I did not. I've got one for Gollywog. I've got one for a He-Man, a Brave Star crossover, Clamp-Champ, Rotar, Mossman, Chakotay, Strongarm, Orko, Stridor, the movie villains. List goes on and on, but I'm going to put Blast-Attak and kind of add my noodling to that, because I have a fun one for Squeeze I hope to do fairly soon too, that's really cool looking, and from an image that's been done before, I'm like, that's a story. You know,
Yeah.
I don't have one in mind, but it makes for a great cover to, you know, like encourage, like, what is that story about? You know?
Yeah. Well, as long as in your Blast-Attak story that you noodle and come up with, if you have some sort of homage to Terminator 2 and having them like come back together is probably do something with it.
I almost feel like though, if I were to do that, though, that would kind of spoil the, because like in Terminator, when the T1, like you see hints the T1000 can heal his body, and that if parts are blown off him, they morph back to him if he's around. You know, I almost feel like if he were to, like that moment when he's like turns his hands into hooks and he's slashing at the police car, and that hook is left in, and John Connor takes it and throws it off. If he'd have kept that part of the T1000 and not thrown into the road for the T1000 to walk up gradually, and then the part melts and then merges back into his body, like that's like, okay, this character can reattach himself, so to speak, if he's severed or caught in an explosion or something like that. Whereas with this, I almost feel like he would need to be illustrated to the audience, like you see like in the corners, like He-Man and Clamp Champ, and maybe set up like Clash of Arms style, not a full Clash of Arms homage, because I have other ideas for that, but like maybe 4 heroic wars are cornering Blast-Attak in the center, and he's illustrated like steams emitting from his body, and illustrate vibrations to like let the audience know, like, yeah, he's going to blow up, or at least hint at that he's going to blow up, and not just have like just kind of taking his staff and slamming it like He-Man's throat or something like that. Like show the fact that, you know, we all know like this, what this character can do, but illustrate on the cover, you know, I don't know, call it like attack mode or something like, I don't know. It's just a random shitty title come off the top of my head.
Yeah, you got some noodling to do about that one then.
Yeah, it's not great. Well, I'm like, I'm proud to say, yeah, not every idea I have is good, but you know what? If you know, you never had a great idea unless you've had some bad ideas too.
Well, we'll get into some of the bad ideas, as I mentioned earlier, here momentarily. But Tyler, is anything else you want to add about Blast-Attak before we hit our commercial break?
I'm kind of ashamed that I have not like pushed to like feature him in many comic stories or in illustrations, and you know, I'm always pushing for the underused character. It's always been my MO. I want to see more of the underused characters, more Jitsu, more Clawful, more Azrog, more Spydra, more Lizard Man, more Clamp Champ, for God's sake. And I'm ashamed. I have not had desire to see Blast-Attak in any illustration. When I'm like, I want to see Rotar used. I want to see, hell, not even Twistoid. So
I think it's time to reassess and get some of that shit
that's
written down.
Not a good mini comic either. With the one that you know, Energy Zoids. It's a shitty mini comic and a great concept. But that's another the good and the bad and the makeover. That's another prime candidate for that. But Blast-Attak, I just feel like he needs more love. He needs more attention. He needs a fantastic artist to illustrate him in the most badass he can be. And and we need to go full on Sharp mode here and call upon the powers of Kevin Sharp and make that happen.
I thought you said Shark mode for a second. I was like, what the fuck is that?
No, I said Sharp.
Sharp mode.
Yeah,
right.
Because he makes every character. And Axel did the same thing when he was doing artwork for me. Like, he made Azrael look fucking unbelievable. Like, he did Azrael for me twice. And the first time he did Azrael for me, oh my God, he looked so like alien-like. Like I was just so taken aback by how good he made Azrael look with Karg on his shoulder. Just like the hunched over, like looking to the side, like, oh my God, like he looks so. And then Kevin did him in a small little sketch for me, like he was doing like a live stream sketching, and I had him do Azrael, and oh my God, like he illustrated Azrael like wonderfully. And it's just like, you see, this is what you need. You need someone who always can intensify these great designs and make them even better. If you thought they were kind of like, you know, beforehand, like, put it in the hands of these guys who make everything look fucking phenomenal every fucking time.
Yeah.
Because I can't think of others on display in here that were just like, I mean, everything that was done by those two looks fucking amazing. But they just always find a way to intensify, these designs of these characters, and I feel like if you're a doubter before, they can make you into a believer every single time.
Yeah.
And
well, I think
I
with
gotta
that,
get cracking on a Blast-Attak story.
Yeah, you got to get cracking on that. So with all that being said, let's go ahead. We'll roll some commercials. We'll come back. We'll get through some feedback. We'll talk about the idea stuff we were mentioning earlier in the show, and then something that we want to bring up and announce to all of you that should be landing fairly soon on the channel. So we'll go ahead. We'll do all that. We'll be back right after this.
Stay tuned.
Mad balls, gross for one, gross for all. We play with a mad ball. They're gross, funny, yucky, sick. There's 8, so you can take your pick. We throw, catch, it's fun. There's so much gross in every one. Freaky fun is what they're for. There's so much ugly, so much more. Gross for one, gross for all. We play with a mad ball. We play with a mad ball. We play with a mad ball. Mad ball.
Freaky fun for everyone, sold separately from Amtoy.
Mad ball.
Hasta luego, fellas.
You're a funny guy, Sully. That's why I'm going to kill you last.
The enemy is incredible.
He'll do exactly as he's told. Wrong.
The odds are unbeatable. The plan is impossible. But he's unstoppable.
Let's party.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. Commando. Rated R. Now playing at a theater near you.
In this corner, Johnny and Rocky. And in this corner, Bobby and Apollo Creed. 6 1/4 inches tall, fully posable. They look the way they do in your favorite Rocky movies. The winner now and a new champion, Rocky. And now, Mr. T as Clubber Lang.
Please so fair. It's me.
To challenge the champ, Sly Stallone, Rocky. It's a left, a right, another right. It's Rocky. Clubber Lang is down. The Rocky Collection. Rocky, Apollo, and Mr. T as Clubber Lang from Pack Toys.
And we're back. Speaking of, we mentioned this, and I've been teasing it this entire time. These ideas. This is kind of something we don't really do as much anymore, but a couple things caught our attention this week. One of them almost nailed it, and the other one is more of those. It has you just scratching your head and not knowing what to make of anything. So we'll start off with this. Both of these are in the Origins line. They got announced this week. The Slime Pit. And you and I covered the Slime Pit a few weeks back. It's finally coming out in the Origins line.
And I couldn't fucking wait.
First thing you will notice here is that we have arms on both sides and a little bit more of an extension of the head. But one of the positives that we found from this is they not only made the pit a little bit deeper, but from the looks of this, I don't know all the facts. I didn't dig too deep into this. It's just social media posts. Looks like you can maybe get some light up molded slime action. Maybe this isn't the case, but looking at it here, just the size alone for this is, I like the scale. I can say I enjoy that, but this side profile shot kind of, much like what Origins has the tendency to do,
make things look goofy as fuck, as opposed to
they just take the proportions and make things look too weird.
Yeah, I'm assuming that the hands are gonna they extend out and were to wrap around the victim of the slime pit.
I would assume,
because it looks like, based on that, which I don't like that. I prefer the single hand that launches up out of the pit to grab the victim, to hold them in place. And I felt like that still could have been done with molded slime in the light up feature. It just looks goofy as fuck with this extra neck, that wasn't on the original one. You don't need that. Mm-hmm. And these extendable hands or static hands on the sides. It just doesn't look right. And I'm sure they justify it by like, well, we had to sacrifice something to get the light up slime feature. Well,
that's the thing. I don't even know if this is a confirmed deal or they were just doing this to make it look nice. So I'm not entirely sure. Like I said,
the base itself, like with the rock, the bath area where the slime pit like falls down into, mm-hmm. It looks fine. I do like the light up feature. The idea of being able to put like slime on a character, which I feel like will be quite kind of limited, because I don't think they're gonna put slime in there to fit the different proportion characters, whether you're female or a lot bulkier or whatever, it's going to be quite limited probably to what you could do, unless it's like these kind of attachments you can just kind of put on
I
a
don't
character.
know. Yeah,
and they may not be that clever enough to even come up with that. But
we will see how this turns out when it's finalized and released and all that stuff.
Nathan showed it to me. I thought like not the hands and the skull, but the base I thought looked fine, and the light up slime I thought was a great idea. Hopefully it's not. They're not going to ask fans, well, we got to charge $200 if you want this because we got lights in this one. So I mean, come on.
Well, like I said though, I don't know if the light up
it may be complete bullshit. Maybe
this might not.
Like,
just
an idea.
I just saw it from this alone. I was like, oh, is this going to have a light up feature to it then, and just molded slime? Like I said, just pulled this from socials. Didn't read anything else about it. Just making assumptions based off the photos that I've seen.
But neither one's going to be buying it anyway, so it's not like it really matters.
But
I mean, Nathan may buy. I don't know. I'm not going to.
No. I have a vintage slime pit.
Yeah, I do too. I've got two.
Yeah, one in the box. But we also have a new figure coming to the Origins line, and it's a new character. And here he is, Expandor, Evil Warrior of Expansion. So when Tyler and I...
Evil Warrior, like he's wearing like a fucking Horde logo too. Like,
yeah, he is part of the Horde, as it were. But when we saw this, our initial reaction was... Jump, motherfucker! And yeah, this is just what this. Honestly, I was talking with Tom about this.
Yeah, Tom had to do the same with this shit first thing when I woke up Friday morning. That's the way I get to wake up to.
It looks like a play school toy.
Yeah, it looks so fucking cheap, so lazy. The color scheme is atrocious.
It's atrocious. It's horrible. And it's like, all right, yeah, Extendor, we have it, but Expandor, like when Tom and I were talking about this, I said that it's so lazy, and Tom was like, he off the top of his head, he's like, you could call him gruesome, and it'd be like a play on words. It'd spell it gruesome, but when you say it out loud, it's like gruesome.
Yeah.
I'm like, look at that. You took probably 90 seconds and came up with that, and that's a better name than this. Expandor? Like, why? You're just taking something and adding or at the end of it, and in some cases that can work, right? But this is terrible.
This is like we're letting you people know we really don't have any fucking good ideas. We're not creative. We're masquerading ourselves as people, as competent people. It's like they're thinking that, okay, hey, back in the days they got away with retooling Beastman and making Mossman and taking Merman and making Stinkor. Like, you guys aren't that fucking creative. You don't have the quality to do it. You don't have the care to do it. This is like, you really, there's certain characters you get away with doing that with Faker and He-Man and Merman and Stinkor, Mossman and Beastman, and you reuse parts and bring them together to make a brand new character. You guys just took fucking Extendor, colored him really badly, and slapped a Horde logo on him. Like, it's a new fucking character. I would love to have sat in the fucking meeting with the idiot that decided, like, I got an idea here, you know, and slaps us up right here. And
I'm sure that's exactly what he sounds like. But I mean, it's
an insult to the brand. This fucking figure.
Gold is not the choice here. This needed to be
that works for Extendor, not for
gray.
this character, you fucking morons.
Yeah, that's.
I hope they see this. God knows no one else is calling them out for their bullshit.
Yeah, this is bad.
It's just like you guys just thought that this would pass off as like, well, we're running out of ideas and we don't want to run out of vintage figures because, you know, we're struggling to keep this line going here without, you know, and it's just like, this is all you can come up with the original one-shot characters featured in the mini comics and Filmation. That you're gonna fuck those up anyway. But you could have tried, and instead you're like, no, fuck you.
I'm gonna get that off the screen. It's been up there long enough.
And we're just gonna take this Extendor figure and just make him a bad guy with a shitty color scheme and a shitty name.
Yeah.
And just think and just expect people to be fucking dumb enough to buy it, pre-ordered on Big Bad, Target, wherever the fuck you're going to sell it. And I don't know who's worse. The idiot or idiots who thought this was a good idea, or the ones that thought it's a good idea to buy it. Because if people keep buying this shit, they'll keep making more of this shit.
Well, I mean, you gotta. I think that tactic from classics back in the day kind of translated to this now, where if people feel like if they don't continue to buy and support, that it'll get canceled, and they don't want that.
Yeah,
so they'll just buy whatever.
You scare them and force them into buying shitty characters that the brain trust sitting at the council table at Mattel are burning the midnight oil to come up with Expandar. I love it, pal.
Speaking of which, this is probably
come on over here, I'll shit in your hair.
This is a better time than any to let all of you at home know that we're going to be at Motu Fest September 12th and 13th. It is coming up quick here in a few months. Greater Cincinnati area where we're going to be there. So go to thepowercon.com for ticket information and other details, specifically other guests that might attend that probably have some connection to this whole thing. So
yeah, they come up to our table, or you can come up to her and tell us how great Expandar really is and how he's justified to be in this fucking line.
Yeah, so make sure you, if you want to do that, come see us at Motu Fest September 12th and 13th. Tyler, let's go ahead. We will move on now to the feedback that we received on our fastest draw.
I really wanted to talk about this shitty figure more, but okay.
The fastest draw in the universe, the good, the bad, and the makeover. All this comes from our premiere chat that we have. Gray Skull Cannon says here, on the toy of Rio Blast, he has a star on his chest. I imagine he's with Brave Star in the same outfit of a lawman. So yeah, Tyler and I mentioned that a lot. Anytime Rio Blast comes up, eventually at some point Brave Star is going to come up with the conversation, because we both in that same mindset of they probably went to the same academy together.
Yeah,
they were
the one that you see that Brave Star's in, like in the Fallen Idol episode. Like that's where I envision Rio Blast, like became an officer of the law, like learning, like they train all these lawmen and disperse them out to various galaxies, and just take what you've learned here, take it to this area, take it to that galaxy, take it to this planet, and apply what you've learned, and try and bring law and order, whether they need it or not. It's just I feel like every planet's going to need law and order, whether it's calm or chaotic.
Yeah,
you do need to have some law and order and checks and balances, and I just like to think that Rio Blast would be he would not be my use for a He-Man Brave Star crossover. In fact, my idea for the story didn't even include Rio Blast at all, because I really wanted to put He-Man and He-Man and Brave Star together, because that's what you want to see. You want to see these two heavyweights like team up together for a common cause. And one of these days I'm going to get Kevin to do the cover. I had two ideas for the cover, and I said I think I went for the Whiplash cover that we did a while back. That was either going to be that one or the Brave Star cover. And I was so fixated on seeing that Whiplash cover in the Pit of Perils. Like, I got to see this done. I want to see this idea done. And I've yet to pull the trigger on getting the Brave Star crossover done. Yeah,
you got a laundry list, man.
I know, man. And it's the money, and Kevin needs the time, to just keep churning these things out. So
we're just gonna have to turn him into Goro and just give him more arms so he can just draw more shit at the same time. Johnny Cock popped in and said, I know Tyler loves letting his imagination run wild with all sorts of potential adventures to take the Master Universe and a Princess of Power characters. Does he have his own homebrew fantasy sci-fi world that he's been cooking in? And he even asked if I even have one, and then went on to say, did you watch Maul Shadow Lord? Finished that today and absolutely enjoyed it. So Tyler, I commented in here and I said, I don't think Tyler's ever really thought about original characters and stuff. You always just take IPs that you like and enjoy and expand upon those. But is that something that you would consider doing at some point? Having your own fantasy, sci-fi world, creating new characters and taking that on?
I remember trying to dabble in that when I in my teens, like trying to come up with my own ideas, and they were sloppy and shitty ideas. But I would always want to do something like He-Man inspired. because I kind of feel like you're never going to be given the permission to work in that sandbox because I have good ideas, and they're not theirs. So but I'm happy with my lot in life. Like I have an outlet to at least share it.
Yeah.
But
But maybe one day you're like, you know what? I'll just rip it off and do my own thing.
Which some people over the years, whether they're good or bad, a lot of times will do something like that. Whether they're ripping off, Thundercats, they're ripping off He-Man, they're ripping off Transformers, whatever the case may be. Like, some people say, well, if I can't work on that property, I'll just create my own and do an homage to it, which is not a bad thing. I guess I just never thought about like sitting down and trying to come up with a hero that's much like He-Man, the villain that's much like Skeletor or Hordak, and coming up with an array of like a wider range of heroes and villains that would fill up the world and locations and things like that, and come up, well, what are they fighting over? Like what's the primary goal? Why do we need this hero? Why is this villain like attacking? Like I guess just because I saw so much potential in all these other properties, like, and especially He-Man, I'm like, man, there's so much potential here that's just not being used, and it just drives me crazy. I'm like, I'll do it myself, and it's not going to get picked up or anything like that, but if I had a dream ever come true, it would be to like
work on the property officially.
Yeah, where I made one legitimate official contribution to the property where people can say, okay, that was Tyler's contribution to He-Man.
Yeah.
And somebody said that, well, you do the podcast. Yes. But whereas people now are just constantly fucking up what the 80s did for us and changing up and not really caring because they're relying on people to not be paying attention to those kind of details. I almost feel like it would be kind of, a bad time to want to make a contribution to where at a time where He-Man's not being treated with the utmost respect. It's like we got guys who are just here. Remember what that guy, the brand manager from like over a decade ago, was doing? All right, just copy what he did. Why? He's not no longer with us. Don't question me. And I'm like, where's the logic in that? Right. And it would be harsh to work on He-Man right now when they're telling you need to abide by these shitty rules.
Yeah, and that's something that you would have to do. So
yeah. And I thought about that a lot. I even talked to people who worked on, like, it's not as fun as you think, Tyler.
Yeah,
and it's unfortunate because to me, I'm seeing people I've talked to, like they have what I could only dream of doing, and you find out you got to abide by all these fucked up rules and things like that. And it's not the dream job that you think. And you think, why would you guys do this? You're bringing people who love the property, who are rabid fans, foaming at the mouth to work on this property. You're like, well, you got to abide by this checklist of bullshit I got right here. Don't question me. It doesn't have to make any sense to me. Just do it. Like Anthony Michael Hall and Edward Scissorhands, just do it.
You have any interest at all in watching this Darth Maul show?
No, because I love the character. Looks great. It's a great visual. I just feel like Disney has screwed the pooch over and over so many times with Star Wars, much like with so many other things they've done outside of Daredevil and the recent Punisher.
We'll talk about that here in a minute.
Yeah, I have no desire, just because I feel like whatever they do, it's just going to be an embarrassment because they have just continued to keep churning out ungodly stuff with Star Wars. Like, what the fuck are you guys doing with this property? Like, we get it, your ideas, let's put it that way, that were failing miserably in all the various shows and movies, and yet you can't seem to figure out why this property is not making you all any more money. Because you can't, like, can we just stop at the root of the problem? Get rid of these fuckers you don't have any clue about what Star Wars is really about, and focus on what kept this property alive during the Dark Ages when no one gave a fuck about Star Wars, or when they brought it back and the characters. It's like, focus on that. Stop trying to make up new shit. Assholes.
I might dip in and check this out. But once again,
is it a one shot or is it like a?
No, I think it's a series, like an animated thing, I believe.
Okay, yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be like a live action thing or something like that. I didn't look because
I think it's animated.
Watch it anyway.
Pretty sure it's animated.
Oh well, I you know, like I said, had it come out when Phantom Menace came out, when I was just popping boners left and right for Darth Maul, like, yeah, you couldn't stop me from watching it. But
Yeah, 26 years too late. Johnny goes on to say commissions are the way to go. Tyler doing the ultimate flex. And then I brought this up because I had mentioned Brawl and Cell Block 99. Bone Tomahawk. I watched it because I wanted to watch a Western. I got something completely different.
oh boy, you got a Western, but a really fucked up Western.
And then I said, did you enjoy it at least? And Johnny said, more like traumatized. It was very good, but I have no desire to watch it again anytime soon.
Come on.
I said, yeah, that ending is something else.
It is. It is, yeah. Well, I'm glad you at least gave it a shot.
Yeah. And speaking of Johnny, messaged me and said, I'm starting to watch the Punisher One Last Kill. And I mean, I don't really want to spoil it for people, but there's a part at the beginning that involves a dog, and you're just like, oh, okay, this is where we're going with this. Johnny made a point to say, yeah, when that happened, I shut it off. I was like, yeah, but you got to go back to it because the rest of it kicks so much ass. And that guy gets his at the end, probably not in the best way. I would have done it way worse shit to him, but he gets his in the end. But let's talk about that real quick because we both enjoyed that quite a bit.
Yeah. I won't say that's probably like a couple of minor nitpicks, and that's mainly just because of the one thing I feel like is so unnecessary is when John is playing the Punisher and he's having like these, you know, big moments where he's attacking people left and right, and he starts growling like a gorilla. I kind of feel like the Punisher doesn't need to do that in any incarnation. Like, he does need to growl, you know, when he's like all worked up and killing people left and right. I just feel like that's an unnecessary. It doesn't take me out of it, but it's something he's done before. And even though I look at him like, yeah, John Bernthal is the Punisher, but I also look at like Dolph Lundgren is the Punisher too. And I never saw Warzone because it looked like shit to me.
I watched that. I revisited that again a couple days ago, actually.
Yeah, and
it's schlocky and stuff, but it's fun. It's paced well. It goes by fast. I enjoyed it, but I would get why most people don't like it.
Yeah,
but
I thought Wayne Knight being cast as Microchip was pretty fucking cool. Like it's
in my opinion, it's way better than Thomas Jane.
Well, that's not a stretch either, you know. And it's not a slight at Thomas Jane. There's nothing wrong with him.
No. It's just the way that story was.
The story and their portrayal of the Punisher is just, even though when we first saw it, we were like, "Oh my god, I'm crying." You know, it's a new Punisher movie. This is great, and it's references to the Garth Ennis run at the time. And then you start to realize, "Oh my god, no!" Just constant like red light, stop, all throughout the movie.
Yeah. I don't know. You might like Warzone. I kind of, to me, it was like, this is a kind of a grindhouse-esque take on
that sounds fine, but just the trailers didn't do it any sort of favors for me.
I don't
nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with Ray Stevenson, but his portrayal of the Punisher looked like he's hamming it up as the Punisher.
No, I know he doesn't even really talk that much.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe now you would like it a little bit.
Okay. I mean,
I get what you're saying though with John. And to an extent, you could also apply that to Daredevil, because a lot of times when he fights, he's like, it doesn't take me out, but it persists enough that you pick up on it being there.
Yeah, and I guess I could see, because a lot of times you feel like our superheroes, like a lot of times they're not. I mean, you may see them in comic panels as being winded or like they're worn out. So I could see that one getting by, but I see what you're talking about there. But when John goes into Punisher mode, like it just the Punisher always strikes me as an extremely silent character. He talks, but he's not screaming. He's not yelling. He's so collected because he's focused on the mission. The mission is killing evil, like anybody and everything. And when he does that, it just kind of feels like. And then you got like the heavy rock, like shitty rock music that's playing during, which kind of feels like I know people like to associate heavy metal and rock with,
I
and
did-
I like a lot of that music, but not in a Punisher. It just felt like, waiting for let the bodies hit the floor start fucking playing.
I didn't mind it, but also like Hatebreed. I dig that band a little bit. I don't know. Watching that got me pumped up. So
I did. Don't get me wrong. I got really fucking pumped watching it. I got emotional because there were some great emotional moments in that one shot. Because John does a phenomenal job as the Punisher.
yeah, you text me and you're like, that can't be it, right? And I'm like, yeah, but I did see a thing that they're wanting to do another like one shot with him. So
Well, I'm like that. I mean, I know he's going to show up in Spider-Man, New
Mhm.
Day, and that might be fun. But that movie may also suck balls too. But I'm like, man, you finally show up with Ma Nucci, played by Judith Light. Oh my God, who's the boss?
yeah.
Like I'm watching. Oh my God, like, and I couldn't. And you had to look it up too. Like, is that Judith Light?
Yeah, I saw. I was like, it can't be, can it? And then sure as shit, it's Judith Light. And I was like, I thought she was way older than what she actually is. I was expecting her to be like in her 80s, but she's in her late 70s right now. So
Well,
yeah.
she still looked damn good.
Yeah.
I mean, I know like Ma Nucci, when you first see her, she's decrepit looking, but when you see in the flashback, she's a lot more. I mean, she looks a little bit more vibrant, and I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, man. I mean, because I had such a crush on her as a kid.
I did too.
Yeah.
I did too.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
So
and I'm like, and they do such a great job with her. I'm like, that's it. Like, you finally bring this character I've wanted to see brought to this, the Punisher in a live action Punisher story like forever. Since the Thomas J movie, we finally get it. Like, that's it. Like, no.
I think that there will probably be some plans for some more, but Ty and I enjoyed that. We enjoyed Daredevil Born Again season 2, so there is some positivity that Marvel has put out. So there you go.
And I would only in a perfect world where they're actually treating the serious characters, the ones who are not known for quips and jokes and winging at the camera, because Daredevil and Punisher are not that. So when we get Spider-Man New Day and Avengers Doomsday,
I think it's brand new day, not Spider-Man
whatever,
New Day.
Yeah. I don't care enough to get it right, because I have no faith in a really good Spider-Man movie being made under their watch. Which you think Marvel's making all calling the shots? Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Which, in this day and age, it would be just as fucked up if it was under complete control. Well, I think Sony still calls the shots with Spider-Man.
Yes, yeah. Sony still does it, but they have that partnership.
Which I still would like to, grab a hold of the schmuck. Just thought, let's take all Spider-Man's villains and make them good guys in their own piece of shit movies. People will love it. Let's do another one. Let's do it again. Let's re-release it in theaters. The guy that played in one of those real shitty movies, let's get him to play the Lord of Destruction. A fucking brilliant idea. I remember when they were going to do a Sinister Six movie, and it was announced. They had Avi Arad sitting in front of like the studio door that says Sinister Six movie, and like, this is really happening. Like, no, it's not.
Yeah,
because it just seemed like, why the fuck do you're gonna make them good guys in a movie called the Sinister Six, and they're slapping each other on the shoulder and drinking beers and robbing a bank playfully, like you're trying to be like misfit Suicide Squad bullshit.
It was for the best.
Yeah,
for the best.
I just why do you guys need to make bad guys good guys all the time? Why is Hollywood so scared to make bad guys real assholes? You read the comics, you're like, I don't like that. I don't like the guy that likes to hunt animals. I want to make him a good guy. I want Russell Crowe to play his father.
These are the comments that we received on the Fastest Draw episode. Casey Duncan say, Tyler drew the line at Cactus. And
took me right out of it there, Casey.
Mike Lomax, like yourselves, a Master Universe Bravestar crossover is something I've wanted to see happen, with nothing official ever happening. It's left the fans like Tyler to create those stories.
Well, I'm glad you bring that up, because it's it's nice to know that people, anybody likes me coming up with those stories. I feel like I've kind of dropped the ball here lately a little bit.
Well, I'm like, hey Tyler, we're gonna do this episode. I gotta finish.
Like I said,
the
I got
ending's
the
not
setup,
good.
and I don't want to get people to set up and like, well, how's it end? Like, well, and then just kind of like spout off a couple of statements like, well, this is where I'm going with it. You know,
if the ultimate battleground mini comic can leave people hanging for decades, why can't you?
And I do have a follow up to the Ultimate Battleground that is already written. So
there we go.
so we can do that. I can give you the sequel to that. And I mean, it starts like that moment, like the moment He-Man says, "Go get the other heroic warriors." Now it's about like that's where the story picks up, is right there. I even wrote two drafts, two different, slightly different, and I was going to go with the second one, and the project never got off the ground.
Yeah.
So
coming soon.
Well, yeah, so I can at least share that with you. I have that one written.
Jaime Mares, more Comet Warriors. Any artist renditions of Tyler's other Rock Warriors? You asked about suggestions. I would like to hear Master Powercast have episodes talk about the MV Creation comics. Emiliano, hands down, best Motu comic artist. So much detail in those comics.
Yeah, those are some very well drawn comics that Emiliano did, that him and Val worked together on, and you learn too that all the restrictions those guys had on trying to make good He-Man stories. Like, no, can't do that. No, that's too good an idea. We're not introducing that character right now.
So they would have to toss. They'd have to toss in little Easter eggs that hopefully fans would pick up on.
Which was a big fucking deal back then. Like that was, oh my god, there's Dragster. Oh my god, there's there's that character. Oh my god, there's Hero.
Yeah.
And that too. Let me just say that again real quick. When the Brain Trust came up with fucking King Grayskull, and Mattel was aware of it too. It wasn't just like Dean Stephan just decided to go ahead and do it. Like Mattel was aware of it, and you see the cameo of Hero in the second issue of the Shard of Darkness. The brand manager at the time spoke to Val and Emiliano, says, I see you put Hero in there. So it's acknowledging the fact that yes, they didn't forget Hero. They just said, fuck off. I got a really bad idea. and MV said, we can make it shittier.
But asking here, any plans to do some renditions of the Rock Warriors that you came up with?
I have not been able to draw quality in a long time, and I wouldn't know where to begin in terms of like me doing it, because I'm not.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Is that something that's like you pass it on to Kevin, have him draw them?
It's something I didn't really think about. That's cool. I mean, it would be interesting seeing that.
I mean, hey, Tom's done the classics concept stuff.
He has done that. Man, I could also probably pass it on to Tom, because I think he would appreciate the names. I don't know if you watched the episode or anything like that, but I think he could appreciate, like, because me and him are really big on like making sure give these characters quality names. Don't be fucking cheap and lazy.
Yeah.
It would be cool to see those characters, like what they would look like. I had a couple of ideas, but even when I came up with the ideas, like I just had
you're just thinking about the broader thing. You're not thinking about the details of how the characters specifically are going.
I almost feel like Darkstone would be like Black Rock, like with maybe gold like eyes or something. I don't know. It was just kind of random. It was nothing other than, I forgot which one it was. It has like this kind of spiked, jagged head of rocks, like protruding out of his head. Like one behemoth. I had to look at the list again, but I had ideas of what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But it would, and I think too, it would be fun to like throw that out to Kevin or Tom and just kind of let them play, because those like Kevin especially, like, you need to be specific. And Axel was the same way. Be specific, but let them be creative. Like, this is the scenario. I want to see this pose, but have fun with it. And when you say have fun with it, it gives them kind of free range to play around with the pose a bit, play along with the angle, and even though it helps to be specific with all that stuff, because people say, I want to see Superman fighting He-Man. Make it look awesome. Do you want like specific poses? What do you want He-Man doing? What do you want Superman? I don't know. Just have him be cool, and then a fart comes out of their head. It's just like, okay, you need to give the guys things to work with. You need to give them parameters to play around with, but then say, have fun with it. Here, when they can have fun with it, and they give more creativity. the better the work is. And I noticed every time Axel did stuff with me, same thing with Kevin. Get them free range. So it would be cool. It's just a matter of getting the money and making that the priority of like, okay, draw Darkstone.
Yeah,
draw
and
slide.
Yeah, and then time. Tom's a busy man. If you went with Tom, and then Kevin's just constantly doing all these other commissions that you got for him. Yeah. Plus, there's shit we got to get him to do too.
There's something we're gonna chip in together and have him work on, and we got to get that done in the coming months. Let alone like when I'm working on paying. He's working on right now at this moment. Let alone the one I'm trying to line up after that one. Yeah. On top of the thing me and Nathan wanted to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's God. I wish I had endless. I wish I could just buy Kevin's services and just continue to pay him.
You work for me now.
You work for me, Kevin. You're just going to draw He-Man, Thundercats.
Yeah, or it could be it's similar in vein, but you could also just it'll be like a Chunk and Sloth, where it's like, you live with me now. Or you can
yeah. You're like, huh? And then like his ears move and stuff like that. You're gonna work for me now. And then Kevin just hugs me and says, I love you, Tyler.
We mentioned Tom. This isn't a comment or anything. This is just something that he messaged me, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna put this on the show and see what Tyler thinks here. You and Tyler should do a ranking of all the new characters introduced into the mythos since 2002. It would be hilarious to hear Tyler's commentary about the ones he hates.
Oh man, that's an interesting concept.
Yeah, just taking
I'm
all
trying
those.
To think who. So we got all the shitty ones from MVC, not MVC. Excuse me, NYP.
Yeah.
Sorry, Val.
We're not invited anymore.
They couldn't create any new characters.
Yeah.
Oh, there was that one character they had planned that was worked into the shitty Scott Knightley mini comics and was illustrated to kill Mighty Spectre. I guess Scott was this way of saying like, yeah, I know you guys hate my fucking character, so I'm gonna have Emiliana's made up character and Val's made up character like kill my character. No, just fuck off and stop putting your shitty character in the mini comics.
But I replied to this and I said, yeah, there would be a lot that Tyler doesn't like. But then Tom said, yeah, I think Tyler likes Drago Man, right? I was like, yeah, Tyler likes
him. He was the only one of that entire, created character group, and the characters that were runner ups in that contest, I thought all deserved to be made into figures. They were given a mini comic to appear in, like Major Header, Bublor, Three Beasts, Rajar, and Major Header. Did I already say that?
Maybe.
Oh, I don't know. But I thought they were all great designs, and they looked like, okay, yeah, I want Rajar. I want Bublor. Like Three Beasts look really cool. Major Header. But no, we got fucking Castle Grayskull, man.
But this wouldn't be bad. We do a tier list of all those characters that have been introduced into the mythology since 2002. That would
since 2002. That means we get to cover all the sea, because there were some good ones in NYP, like Ceratus and Lord Dactus, or the Spleens and the Caligars. Like I thought those were really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Decker was just a character that didn't get to do anything in one of the worst episodes of all time from NYP. Technically, it's not the character's fault, but I associate him with such a shitty episode, and it just, I don't know. I just like, oh my god, it's that shitty character from that shitty episode. But I'm like, I only saw it the one time. I'll never watch it again because I'm not going to watch it again. But unless it was like we were to like raise money for charity or something like that. And like, we will watch this shitty episode if you donate money to whatever. Tell Mattel, here, we're going to pay you to stop doing bad ideas. This charity's going to here. This will pay your bill. Stop making all these. Go make baby toys or some shit like that.
But I'll add it to the list, Tom. We'll make that a tier list thing. That would be pretty fun.
It's intriguing.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? Let's
because I think for the first time ever that we've done a tier list over these years, I think that the bottom end's definitely going to fill up more than the top.
Oh God, yeah.
So
I'm trying to think who else, because then we got the Mighty Spectre. Can't wait to shit on that. Psychop, Castle Grayskull, man.
The way you said that, it's kind of like what was it? Was it Scott Hall? I
can't wait to kick out of your finish.
Yeah, he's like great finish. Can't wait to kick out of it.
Yeah,
yeah, it'll be like that.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. Because I I didn't buy. Side Shot was the only one that I bought because I was trying to talk myself. Oh, he's.
That noise you made sounded like that clip from Spider-Man the Animated Series when Kingpin was trying to climb that ladder. Yeah, I'll add it to the list. don't rack your brain now trying to think of everyone.
Okay, because I'm trying to
shit
think,
on
like,
later.
You know, yeah, because I wonder how long. Well, we don't want to go on forever, so I almost feel like.
Well, I think some of them are going to be like short, like easy ranks. And we'll burn through it.
Well, we need to be like a finite number, like, because when we do the tier list with like the card art, we have like what, 10, 12.
Yeah, we can do it in segments, I suppose.
I guess because we wouldn't want it to be, you know.
We could go 2002 to like 2010, and then like 2010 to present day or something. Make it a two-parter. It'll be good. Keep the people wanting more, right?
Well, emphasize. Tyler just shits on all the new stuff, like, and then do 2 episodes of me just shitting on the new stuff.
Yeah. It'll be good.
I do like that idea a lot, though. That's very, very yeah, because use it as a means of emphasis. Okay, why this doesn't work?
Yeah.
Don't
expand upon it. Don't make it just be like, oh,
yeah.
This
So I'm
sucks
gonna come in and just say, you know, it sucks. It just sucks balls, and that's the shit. Like, no, I want to be respectful, like, and just that's lazy. Yeah, it sucks, but let me tell you why it sucks. Expand upon that. Yeah. And anyone who's like a good fan of any of these properties, like, you know, you got to give reasons. You can't just come in and sit there and just shit in your hand, just slap it all over there. It's just like, no, give me some context here, because I know, you know, it's not about convincing the people that think King Grayskull is a great idea, even though if you do think it's a great idea, you're fucking dumb. And if you would come to Motu Fest and say, I like him.
September 12th and 13th, we will be there.
Yeah,
Let us know your thoughts.
Come to the table and let tell us why King Grayskull works, and why he works so well in whatever Revelations or whatever Revolution.
Revolution. Yeah, the Netflix stuff.
Do not give 2 flying fucks about what if I get anything right about that.
Well, we will leave you guys with this last little tidbit before we get out of here. You see Tyler repping the G.I. Joe shirt. It's some stuff we've dropped some hints, just kind of bringing up G.I. Joe in discussion. We've had some comments about it. There's one listener in particular, Jaime Marez, constantly asking me about G.I. Joe. So here in a few weeks on this channel, we are going to start recording bonus content for here. It's not going to premiere on the channel on Sundays. It'll probably be midweek. Maybe a little more often than the Spinner Rack, but I'm not going to say the title of the show just yet. We'll save that for when it actually pops up on the channel. But Tyler and I are going to start discussing G.I. Joe more, and we're going to apply what we've taken here with Master Powercast and apply it to that. So you're going to get like character spotlight stuff, tier list stuff, comic book reviews, episode
breakdowns.
Yeah. And,
if you like what we do on here with the good and the bad and the makeover, or episode, commentaries on or why this one works or why this one doesn't, or spotlighting characters, because God knows there's a shit ton of G.I. Joe characters on both sides that are overlooked or have a pocket of fans that really like this character. That's what we want to do with G.I. Joe. We both grew up on this property, and we got a lot to say about it. We've had limited times to talk about G.I. Joe in the past, and we just we want to bring that same love and passion to a property that both of us have, celebrated a really long fucking time.
And I've actually dedicated the past couple weeks right now. Currently, I'm 50 episodes deep out of the 95 episode run. So a little over halfway at this point, just watching them all in order. That way, when we go and cover, then it's a revisit and I'll have way more to say. So yeah, we just want to take the love that we have here and apply it to G.I. Joe. So be on the lookout for that in the coming weeks.
And the new stuff, I praise. I don't shit on the new stuff. So
Yeah.
That's something we both can sit and say, yeah, the classified figure looks fucking amazing. I think it's great. Or that the update on that vehicle. Or don't read the new stuff. I tried a couple times. The artwork's so fucking atrocious. Unless it's like John Royal does like these beautiful variant covers, because he does like throwbacks to like the classic designs, and just makes, I don't know if he still does variant covers, but every cover I've seen him do where he honors all the old school characters, like he makes all the women look hot, all the guys look badass. And it's, oh my god, like he's got Crystal Ball on the cover fighting Snake Eyes, he's got Big Bo on the cover, Croc Masters fighting Falcon, he's got Cover Girl looking fucking amazing, he's got Outback and Low Light, you know, like all you know, just it's just he makes everybody look so fucking cool. And like, why can't the interior artwork look this good? And I know Larry Hama's like over the years has come back and worked on it. I've yet to be able to pinpoint that where at, and I would like to read it. But when I see some of the IDW artwork, I'm like, oh god, like it's better be this, I mean, fucking, you know, brilliance storytelling, because the artwork is just cheap and lazy, like it is a lot of like Thundercats and Silver Hawks. Have you seen that hammered shit? Oh my god,
I haven't
oh man,
I haven't looked at that.
They're gonna put, that's another shitty crossover they got lined up. Thundercats and Silverhawks are going to war. Oh my god, I can't wait to see how fucking shitty that looks.
Regardless, if you've been excited about the content that we've been putting out here on Master Powercast, we hope you will be equally as excited, maybe more so, for the G.I. Joe stuff. So we look forward to putting.
Yeah, we like with He-Man, we'll take suggestions too. If you have like a comic book or a character or an episode, we're not going to review the shitty movies. Don't even fucking try.
Oh yeah, Rise of Cobra and Retaliation
and Snake Eyes. Don't even think about it. There's nothing on this planet that you could get me to sit down. There's no reason.
Most of the conversation will pertain to the vintage figure line, the original cartoon. Maybe we'll dabble in the Deke stuff a little bit.
Oh boy, that was gonna be hard to sit through too. It doesn't hold like I loved it as a kid.
I loved it as a kid as well. They would play, like, you get the original series, the Deke series. They play them like back to back. Sometimes I'd watch it all as a kid. It didn't matter to me, but
I didn't see the difference. I was like, oh my god, Chris Latta is still playing Cobra Commander. I kept thinking Arthur Burkhart was still playing Destro, and he clearly wasn't. But
yeah,
I was.
And I haven't revisited the Deke series in a very long time. And I do plan to, just to, once again, for the content. But the basis of it's going to be around that vintage stuff, and of course talking about the classified line. So I hope everyone's excited for that. I hope everyone enjoyed us talking about Blast-Attak tonight. Once again, leave a comment down below. Whose side is he on, in your opinion? Make sure you like this video, subscribe if you haven't done so, and until later, let the power return.
You know, I never really liked paying bills. I'm just going to stop doing that.
Office Space.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just not going to go anymore.
Yeah. I'm waiting for Nathan to have that conversation with Nathan.
Dude, I feel like it every day.
Yeah. He's just going to be like, you know what? I'm kind of busy right now. Nathan's just kind of dicking around on his phone. Like, I already talked to the hire. I got a meeting with him later. You know, I could totally see Nathan just having.
Yeah, I don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah, much like Steeler.
yeah. I watching that episode, I'm like, is this me? Got to be me, right? And you said, yeah, kind of, but you're like this weird combination of
you're a mishmash of Joes. You know, that's because there's so many personalities. You got some that are brash, that are outspoken, some that are gas bags, and I think about too, like when we get around talking about that, like, because I had perspectives, like I loved Shipwreck as a kid, fucking loved it, wanted the figure so bad. Now as an adult, I'm like, God, he gets on my fucking nerves. You know, Lifeline, I thought it was cool to see him show up in the cartoon as a kid. Now it's just like, do we really need this? Now I do not argue, and we could say, we can go deeper on this for a future Joe discussion. But I when people sit there and say, well, we've already got a medic, or we've already got a ranger, or we've already got a snow specialist, are you telling me that when G.I. Joe needs someone who specializes in Arctic adventure, well, we've only got one guy? Do we have Snow Job? You tell me you wouldn't want a team of Arctic troopers like Iceberg, Blizzard, Sub-Zero, these guys to go as a group into the Arctic instead of just relying on one guy who's
hey man, it's got to be snow jobs taking Flint, Lady J,
and Recondo, the jungle specialist. You know, and even though that's what the cartoon would do, which I thought was kind of, and even the comic books a lot of times will have people who are completely, you know, there's no their specialty, and that's cool because at least you know you're
what is it? Isn't there's one episode I believe where they go into like a colder climate mission, and I think it's either a barbecue or blowtorch that's there, and he makes a comment to say that he doesn't enjoy the weather. I think they got to go to like Antarctica or something.
I'm trying to. Is it the Edu de Cobra, the one about the perfume?
Maybe I've watched so many.
Yeah, and
it does very much blend together. But the parts of that episode that I remember, because that is one of the ones I watched just recently. It is a lot of fun when Flint gets sprayed with it, and he's kind of taken by, and then like Lady J's wearing that white dress, looking really hot.
Yeah. Lady J, she's definitely the smoke.
And then she like sprays it, so then like all the dudes are attracted to her and taking away the attention from the Baroness and everything. I'm
picking Lady J over the Baroness every day of the week, man. I
was gonna save this conversation for when we do the shows, but I'll ask you here now. Scarlet or Lady J?
Lady J. As a kid,
yep.
As a kid, I liked Scarlet a lot, but when Lady J was there, I was just like, you know, I love Lady J because she's Flint's girl, and I thought she was cool as shit. But I was attracted to Scarlet. But as I got older, I was like, man, Lady J, she's got it going on, man. Like, you know,
kick your ass.
Certain depending who illustrates her cover girl, because she's ugly as fuck in the cartoon. You know, but
she's not that bad in the cartoon.
No, she's not. Man, she's macking on Duke, and Cobra Claus is coming to town. Like, man, what? You've already established so many.
Yeah, she kisses him at the end.
Yeah, which I'm like, well, it's kind of fun to kind of mix it up here, but man, it's already established that Duke and Scarlet got something going on here. I guess she's on Christmas leave, and Duke's shacking up with CoverGirl. You know, but so, like the classified CoverGirl, like both versions, like the redhead and the blonde, like beautiful, like sculpts. Like, why can't you make her look like that? You know, and then the way she's depicted in like the you know CoverGirl in the very beginning with like the blonde hair, and then the comic books, I know early on like they give her like brown hair. You know, she kind of like her look changes, you know, sometimes. But Lady J will always be like the number one Joe girl by far. Yeah. And on depending how she's illustrated too, Zorana. Zorana's got punk pink hair. Oh man, like when she's depicted like that. There in the latter years of G.I. Joe in the comic books, there's one issue particular, and maybe she's depicted in like certain issues the same way. But I remember specifically in the when they were doing another crossover with Transformers, like when they were kind of launching the Generation 2 look. And Zorana is kind of like one of the main baddies, you know, with Cobra Commander, when Megatron is like making a brand new alliance with Cobra Commander. And the way she's drawn in that, like she has this long kind of punk pink hair, like, oh man, yeah, that's a great look for the character. Like, yeah, like why do you get more of that? Like, you know, I know.
I got to stop you there, man. That's a little tiny taste of what you can expect.
Oh yeah. And keep going here. Like, well, I have to, you know.
Just start the episode.
Yeah.
Here's the name, everybody. So that's just a tiny taste of what you can expect from us talking G.I. Joe here in the future. Before we go all the way,
there will be some Ninja Force love. Just a heads up on that. But fuck the Eco Warriors.
Yeah, Ninja Force love, and then we're gonna appreciate all those characters and a lot of the lapsing fans as they got older have a tendency to not enjoy as much.
And we can expand upon that as too, because even though me and Nathan, like we're born in the 80s and caught, you know, we caught the, you know, is
the reruns.
And what's that?
We caught the reruns, the syndication of the original cartoon, and then of course the Deke series. But when we're buying the action figures, we're getting Some vintage, some of the older stuff we could find in stores. A lot of it was for me like yard sales, flea markets.
Or for me, it was well, my mom's best friend's daughter was a GI Joe fanatic, and she would give me extras.
Yeah,
only on occasion. That was the only way I could get anything that was vintage characters. That for me, oh my god, like Mainframe, Xandar, Snow Serpent. Like if they weren't available in stores, like you had to go with what you had. Yeah. It wasn't like we sit there and say these 90s designs are superior to what was in the age. No. It's but
some stuff's really good from that time period.
And it'll be fun to expand upon that because we wanted the vintage stuff, or what was considered the older GI Joe stuff that was not available to us, but we were all about the current product because it's new GI Joes. It's the brand GI Joe. Give me more Cobra. Give me more Joes. Like it's not we're gonna So what it's just one of many things you can expect from us in this new endeavor.
Yep. So there it is. One last thing I do want to touch on. Just want to give a quick thanks to everyone that's been simply watching the show. These past few episodes have done very, very well. So appreciate all of you giving that a click, giving it a like, just taking your time to watch and absorb. So with that said, thank you for watching.
Thanks for your time.
A pittance to protect you from evil.
I am evil.
You're slats.